Hello everyone, my name is David Hazar, and I'm one of the authors of MGT 516 or Management 516, Managing Security Vulnerabilities, Enterprise and Cloud, which is a new course offered by SANS. I wanted to talk to you today about role-based or owner-based reporting and how it can help improve the engagement that our remediation owners have with our vulnerability management program. And I wanted to start off by reviewing some of the out-of-the-box reports that we might typically see in the vulnerability management tool sets that we leverage. The first one is this open vulnerable items by CI, configuration item, or host. And there's value in this report in that it just does display some of the assets that are having the largest problems or that demonstrate some of the most risk to the organization, right? Like by quantity of vulnerabilities, not necessarily by severity. And so that's something that we can get into as well, as far as customizing this to show risk not only by quantity but also severity. But that's not what I wanted to discuss today. So we have this report. We can see the top hosts, but as a remediation owner, as somebody that's responsible for fixing these vulnerabilities, there's a couple of things that stand out to me, right? I come and look at this report, and if I only have one asset that's in this list, or let's say I have 0 assets that are in this list, I may not think that I have a lot to do, right? I'll take care of my one asset that is exposing the company to greater risk, and then I'm done, right? There's nothing. This report's not telling me about anything else that I need to work on right now. Similar, this report over here with remediation target status, right? With in-flight being, hey, these are the things that are conforming to policy, approaching target, they're nearing their due date, and past target, these are overdue. As a remediation owner, I look at this and I say, hey, some things are overdue, and that may spur me to action, right? It may make me, hey, look, I should find out what problems I have, and I could go over to this report and I can see, oh, I don't have any assets here. It must be somebody else's problem. And that's kind of the problem with some of the out-of-the-box reports. Now, one of the solutions to this problem is to separate our reports by owner. The problem here in this version of the report that's not filtered is we have a lot of noise here. There are a bunch of vulnerabilities that are not assigned to anybody. And that makes it look like, hey, in comparison to the if we look at the whole picture, the whole problem, our piece of that is pretty small, and so maybe we're not as motivated to work on things. If we drill down here, we can eventually get to the actual data, and after doing some analysis, we see that if we group by class, all of the empty ones are end user compute devices, or the computer class. Now, that's a problem, and we need to fix that. We need to get the asset database up, asset inventory up to date so that it does assign owners to these desktop devices, right? Who's responsible for, approving remediation or remediating these items? Is it different by location, or is it, one specific group? We should get that filled in so that these are assigned to somebody. But in the meantime, so that we can move forward and have a more meaningful report, let's remove the noise. And so we've filtered out that class of asset. And now we have a more meaningful report, right? The owners can come in and they can see, where they rank. Or maybe, instead of displaying the full list to them, when they log in their dashboard, they see this view of the vulnerabilities that are specific to them. Because it may make sense to show them what other people have to work on, but maybe that's a report for a different type of employee. For the owners themselves, what do they need to focus on? What do they need to worry about? And the nice thing about this is now we have many more people throughout the organization looking at these reports and taking action. At least ideally they would take action on these. Now let's say it doesn't lead to taking action. it may still lead to them identifying the reason why they can't remediate these vulnerabilities and letting us know. For instance, third-party software. It's a problem in lots of companies for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that the technology used for automatically patching these systems doesn't support third-party software very well. It supports the core operating system or core platform components, maybe some of the middleware or vendor-specific software, but when it gets to true third-party software, they may not have the same capabilities, or it may take some additional customization to get that patching done for that software. The other reason that I see this in a lot of organizations is exceptions or exclusions. These things can't be updated, right? If we drill into one of these, we'll see one of the biggest issues is Firefox, right? Are we not updating Firefox because we don't have the capabilities technically to do that, or are we not updating it because within the organization there are some of our applications, our web-based applications, that are not supported in the newer versions of Firefox? We need this older version so that those applications continue to function. And so that's another reason why I see this issue. But by getting more people looking at this data and analyzing it, there's a greater chance that somebody is going to come back to us, is going to report to us, hey, I realize I'm having an issue with these vulnerabilities, and this is why I can't resolve that problem. And then going back to eliminating the noise, once we know that, if we're in agreement, right, if IT comes back to security and says, hey, you know what, we can't update Firefox for this reason, should we continue to advertise the fact that this needs to be fixed to all the owners, right? If we've agreed and they've agreed that we can't update Firefox because of these 3 applications that require an older version, then is it useful to have that on the report, or is it just noise? And lots of companies can look at that different ways, but in my opinion, get it off this report. That doesn't mean we get it off all reports, but get it off this report and make sure that it is visible to the people that can help solve the problem. So management, executives, those with the ability to create projects and funding that can replace the applications with this dependency so that eventually we can upgrade this software. But also within security, what are some compensating controls? What's some virtual patching, or what are some other things that we can do to protect the organization against the vulnerabilities associated with this outdated third-party software? And so on the security reports, on the management and executive reports, that stuff should definitely still be there. It helps us tell our story and helps promote a solution to the underlying problem. But as far as the remediation owners, we know they can't fix it. They know they can't fix it. And so it would be better to eliminate those from the report so they can focus on what they can fix. And so I think that's how owner-based reporting and also eliminating the noise can help us more effectively communicate and distribute the work that needs to be done in our vulnerability management programs.